This is a whole new issue for me in a way, but we've all been using the internet for a while now, and it's kind of might be news to you about how broken it is. But I'm going to tell you a story that starts out hopeful and gets a bit unhopeful in the middle and moves towards hope towards the end. I am happy to be in Detroit because the founder of the organisation I'm working with now was politicised here very much during the 60s in the drum organisation, the Detroit Revolutionary Union Movement, which was quite a radical Maoist organisation, I understand. He was also at the Panthers, and so this company I work for that makes software has a very strong political track, partly because of the politics of the founder. He's a screaming Marxist, and I am an anarchist. And we argue a lot, just like Edith and I do, about deep politics. You might have heard of a man called Aaron Schwartz. Aaron Schwartz worked for ThoughtWorks just before he died, for the year before he died. And he was an internet freedom activist, and he was very instrumental in stopping this terrible law called SOPA, which was the Stop Online Privacy Act. And it was a great victory. And I've been employed by the company to continue his work, which is kind of daunting because he was a great technical genius and a political activist. And I'm just a political activist, not really a technical person, but I'm learning a lot as I go, and I want to talk to you a bit more about that as we go along today.
Felicity, the shadow keeps going up there.
I'm standing
Maybe, yeah,
move
it. It's distracting.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. Because I have notes, but I can't remember everything I want to say. Is that better? Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
You're not in the way now.
All right. So, in the 1990s, we were all pretty happy about the internet. There was a lot of tech utopianism, it's called, in this sector. So, and it was understandable as well. Here was this new tool. I remember feeling like this when the fax happened. Here we go. Fax is going to save us. We're going to send each other revolutionary faxes and have international solidarity and real-time communication. Well, the internet has given us that in spades in many ways. We can defy geography, we can defy language. Do you actually want to move? Do you want to move so you can see? Or shall I? Where's the best place for me to be? So
I'm good.
It's good.
You're
I think we're fine.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, I just thought I was in your way. So here we've got some quotes. People talking about the internet being our best hope, a peace dividend that will be able to improve our communications, and will, it's this incredible library, it's this ability for us to teach and share knowledge that, really makes it a kind of, modern day Library of Alexandria. Unfortunately, it's becoming a bit more like a McDonald's. Here's the guy who invented the World Wide Web. His name is Tim Berners-Lee, and he's a British guy. He worked at CERN, just up the road from Edith's house. And here he is saying that when I invented the World Wide Web, he didn't patent it. So this guy could have made billions from the web, but he actually gave it away, partly out of this tech utopianism, this potential for what this platform could become among decision makers in the world, peoples in the world, educators in the world. So he's a pretty excited guy. And if you look at the WILPF website in the 90s, there's this wonderful website where you can actually go back, and it's called thearchive.org, and you can see websites from a long time ago. So if you are kind of nostalgic for an older version of the WILPF website that, for example, might have the resolutions that I typed, so that's what it is. You can bring it back. I know, I wish. So anyway, the reason I'm bringing this old version of the WILPF website up was because it was the first version of the WILPF website, and part of what was kind of exciting about the web in those early days also was that anybody could do it. It was quite empowering that you could have these tools to share information, and even someone as untech-worthy as myself could make a pretty basic website like this. Today's WILPF website is much more sophisticated, but at least it didn't look too bad and it had a lot of information on it. Today, there's 30 trillion individual website pages. That's 30 trillion. That's a lot. So there's a lot of people. There's 8.7 billion devices connected to the internet. 8.7 billion. It's really become the backbone of so much of our decision making, communications, but also transport, energy systems, also weapon systems are part of these 8.7 billion devices linked in some way to the internet. So, as as the 90s wore on, there was also a little bit of waking up to the fact that this tech utopianism, this hopes for the internet that we have might not be entirely justified. What people started noticing was that, Carol's earphones yelling at us, was that actually in many ways the inequalities and the problems in the offline world were simply duplicated into the online world. The utopianism and this dream that we had for the internet to liberate us all, you know, in whose hands is this internet? What information, what version of history is on the internet? People started asking these questions, and it wasn't so simple as, isn't it wonderful? Here is an image of the content on Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not-for-profit. It's got all of the elements of a positive example of what the web can be. Wikipedia is kind of group-sourced information. People are sharing their versions, they're sharing their knowledge, they're piling it onto this wonderful website where everybody is able to edit and to add. But where's the information coming from? You can see in the creation of articles, a lot of it comes from the richer countries that are darker in colour on this map. So this is the source. These are the people who have access to the internet and who are contributing. So it's very imbalanced, right? Here also you can see an image about what the articles are about. So this colour represented who is contributing, and this is what it's about. You can see the whole continent of Africa, only about 2.6% of the world's geotagged Wikipedia articles are about Africa, which is crazy.
About or written by Africa?
So this is by, this is about content. So that's who and this is what. So, you know, Africa has 14% of the world's population, 20% of the world's land, and only 2.6% of the content on the internet through the Wikipedia lens. So this is a problem over who's controlling the information that's up there, and sometimes this leads to the rewriting of history. If you look, for example, if you do a Google search, I'll tell you why we have to stop doing Google searches soon. If you do a Google search on, say, Nelson Mandela, you get 4 pages of content that's not at all from South Africa. You get a lot of content indeed, before you get the historical truth that it was actually the CIA that dogged in where he was that enabled his arrest. So this causes a distortion, you know, where this information is coming from, where people are getting their truth from. These are things that have been true always, but on the online world, they're compounded, because often people are just going to these sources and going, it's right, because it's online, right?